Have you ever noticed how a bad night's sleep doesn't just make you tired? It affects everything: your mood, your memory, even your balance when you get out of bed in the morning. Now imagine what years of irregular or poor quality sleep can do, especially after 70. Here's the truth. After a certain age, sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. And science shows that when you sleep is just as important as how long you sleep. Let me ask you something personal. Do you find yourself staying up past midnight, then waking up groggy and stiff, even after 8 hours? You're not alone. Many seniors assume that simply getting enough hours is the goal. But here's what researchers have found, especially in older adults. The timing of sleep can directly impact your risk for cognitive decline, heart disease, and even longevity. In this video, we're going to talk about the best time for people over 70 to go to bed and why it matters more than you might think, not just based on tradition or habit, but backed by actual science, sleep studies, and clinical findings from doctors who specialize in aging and sleep medicine. Now, let's start by getting into the most important concept: the connection between your internal body clock, also called circadian rhythm, and your longevity. As we age, our circadian rhythm naturally shifts. That's why many older adults feel sleepy earlier in the evening and tend to wake up before the sun rises. But ignoring that internal clock, pushing yourself to stay up late or sleep in, can lead to something called circadian misalignment. And that misalignment, according to a 2022 study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine, has been linked to a higher risk of stroke, metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes, and memory problems in people over 65. Here's a practical example. Imagine two seniors, both 75 years old. One goes to bed at 10 p.m. and wakes up at 6 a.m. consistently. The other stays up watching late-night TV until 1:30 a.m. and sleeps until 9:30 a.m. They both get 8 hours. But studies show the first person, who follows a natural circadian rhythm, will likely have better heart rate variability, lower inflammation markers, and stronger cognitive scores. Why? Because between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is what doctors call biological prime time for cell repair, melatonin production, and brain detox. Melatonin, by the way, is not just a sleep hormone. It's a powerful antioxidant. Your body produces the most melatonin when it's dark and when your sleep is aligned with your circadian rhythm. But after age 70, melatonin levels drop significantly, almost 70% less than in younger adults. That's why go to bed during your melatonin window, between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m. Helps you fall asleep faster and improves the quality of your deep sleep, the kind that clears out beta amyloid plaque in your brain, the same plaque linked to Alzheimer's disease. Here's another powerful study. In 2020, researchers from Harvard Medical School found that seniors who consistently went to bed between 9:30 p.m. and 10:45 p.m. had a 33% lower risk of early mortality compared to those who slept later, even if they got the same total hours. That's a huge difference. It's not just about getting rest. It's about syncing with your biology. Let me give you something practical you can try. Set a wind-down routine that starts at 9 p.m. Dim the lights, turn off screens, maybe sip on some chamomile tea. By 9:30 p.m., start heading to bed. No phones, no heavy meals, no news. Let your body ease into sleep naturally. It may take a few days to adjust, but once it does, you'll notice you wake up feeling lighter, less achy, and more mentally clear. This bedtime shift is especially important if you're dealing with blood pressure issues. The Cleveland Clinic reports that seniors who go to bed too late tend to have higher nighttime blood pressure, a strong predictor of heart disease. By sleeping earlier, you allow your blood vessels and heart rate to naturally dip during the night, which is essential for long-term heart health. Now, I know some of you might be night owls. You've been going to bed late for decades. But here's the thing. Your body's natural rhythm has changed, even if your habits haven't. The key isn't to fight that change, it's to work with it. Think of it like a river. You can either try to swim against it or float with it. When you float with your body's rhythm, everything becomes easier. Falling asleep, staying asleep, and waking up with energy instead of grogginess. If you're someone who struggles to fall asleep early, try this tip. Go outside in the morning for 10 to 15 minutes. Morning sunlight is like a reset button for your body clock. It helps regulate your melatonin cycle, so that when nighttime comes, your brain knows it's time to sleep. It may sound simple, but morning light exposure is one of the most proven, doctor-recommended strategies for improving sleep in seniors. Dr. Michael Breus, a sleep expert often featured on health networks, says, "The earlier you get light into your eyes, the earlier your body is ready for sleep." Here's one more powerful insight. According to a longitudinal study from the University of California, Berkeley, seniors who maintain a consistent early bedtime, around 9:30 to 10:30 p.m., also show better memory retention and reduced risk of nighttime falls. Why? Because their brain gets more what's called non-REM slow-wave sleep, which strengthens memory and enhances balance by calming the nervous system overnight. So if you've been wondering why you're forgetting names more often or feeling unsteady when getting out of bed, your bedtime could be part of the problem and the solution. Now that we've uncovered the importance of sleeping earlier, the benefits it brings, and how your body naturally wants to shift into that rhythm after 70, let's explore even deeper factors that influence your sleep quality and long-term health. Now that we understand how crucial it is to go to bed between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m., let's talk about something that often gets overlooked. What happens in the hours before you go to sleep? Because it turns out the secret to a good night's rest doesn't begin when your head hits the pillow. It actually starts 2 or 3 hours earlier. Think of it like this. You don't just flip a switch and fall into deep sleep. You ease your way there. And the better you prepare your body, the better your sleep, especially after 70. Let's start with what doctors call sleep hygiene. Now, don't worry. This has nothing to do with brushing your teeth. Sleep hygiene simply means setting up your habits and your environment in a way that supports deep, restorative sleep. One of the most effective and most overlooked elements of sleep hygiene is light. Your body's natural clock is controlled by a part of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This little area responds directly to light. So when you expose yourself to bright, blue-tone light at night, from your phone, your TV, your tablet, it tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. And if your brain thinks it's daytime, it won't produce melatonin. No melatonin, no deep sleep. A study from the University of Colorado found that just 30 minutes of blue light exposure before bed reduced melatonin production in older adults by nearly 50%. That's half your sleep hormone gone. So one practical change you can make tonight is to turn off all screens at least an hour before bed. Replace them with something calming, soft music, reading a light book, or even listening to a soothing podcast. Just make sure it's audio, not something you're watching. If you absolutely must look at a screen, at least switch on night mode or wear blue light blocking glasses. These tiny changes may seem small, but their impact is massive, especially for seniors. Remember, after 70, your body is less efficient at producing melatonin. So protecting what little you have is critical. Now, let's talk about temperature. Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night sweaty or restless? It might be your bedroom temperature working against you. The ideal temperature for deep sleep, according to the National Sleep Foundation, is between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15.5 to 19.5 Celsius. Why? Because your core body temperature needs to drop by about 2 degrees to trigger deep sleep. If your room is too warm, your body can't cool down and you end up tossing and turning. Let me give you a real-world example. One of our viewers, John, he's 74, wrote in saying he used to wake up every night around 2 a.m. drenched in sweat. He tried everything, sleeping pills, herbal teas, but nothing worked. Then, on his doctor's advice, he set his thermostat to 65 degrees at night and started using a lightweight blanket instead of his usual thick comforter. Within 3 nights, he was sleeping straight through until morning. Sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about removing the small things that are getting in the way of your body's natural rhythm. Another powerful strategy is to establish a consistent bedtime routine and stick to it like clockwork. Why? Because your brain loves patterns. When you repeat the same steps every night, like brushing your teeth, dimming the lights, changing into your pajamas, it sends a signal to your brain. It's time to wind down. This helps your brain start producing melatonin even before your head hits the pillow. Research from UCLA's Sleep Disorder Center shows that seniors with consistent bedtime routine fall asleep 37% faster and experience 20% more deep sleep than those with irregular sleep patterns. That means you're not just sleeping longer, you're sleeping better. And here's a tip. Include something relaxing in your wind-down routine. Maybe you enjoy a warm bath or gentle stretching before bed. Or even something as simple as rubbing lavender oil on your wrists. Yes, there's science behind that too. A 2021 meta-analysis published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that aromatherapy with lavender significantly improves sleep quality in seniors and help reduce nighttime anxiety, which is a common cause of sleep disturbance. Speaking of nighttime anxiety, let's address something that many people over 70 quietly deal with. Worry. Whether it's about your health, your kids, your finances, or simply what the next day holds, worry can hijack your sleep like nothing else. That's why incorporating even a small bit of mindfulness before bed can be a game changer. You don't need to sit on a yoga mat or chant anything. Just try this. Lie in bed, close your eyes, and take 4 slow breaths in, hold for 7 seconds, and breathe out for 8 seconds. This is known as the 4-7-8 breathing technique, and it's been proven to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that says, relax, you're safe, it's time to rest. Doctors at Harvard have used it to help patients with insomnia fall asleep in as little as 60 seconds. Let's pause here for a second. Take a moment to imagine what your evening could look like with these changes in place. You dim the lights at 8:30. You switch off your screens. You enjoy a quiet cup of herbal tea, maybe journal for a few minutes or read something peaceful. By 9:30, you're under the covers. The room is cool, your mind is calm, and before you know it, you're drifting into a deep, healing sleep. That's not fantasy. That's reality. For thousands of seniors who decided to stop fighting their biology and start working with it, your body wants to sleep well. It's built to repair itself at night. You just have to give it the right environment to do so. Now, let's take it one step deeper and look at how the foods you eat, and when you eat them, can dramatically affect your sleep quality after 70. Because even if you have the perfect bedtime and environment, what you put in your body during the day can either help or harm your rest at night. Let's talk about food, because what you eat and when you eat it can make or break your sleep after 70. A lot of folks think sleep is all about what happens in the bedroom, but it's not. Your sleep quality starts in the kitchen. Now, here's something many seniors don't realize. As we age, our metabolism slows down, our digestion becomes a bit more sensitive, and our body's ability to process certain foods, especially late at night, gets weaker. Eating the wrong foods too close to bedtime can keep your system working overtime when it should be winding down. That means lighter sleep, more awakenings, and a higher chance of waking up feeling groggy instead of refreshed. Let me give you a quick example. Ever had a late-night snack of cheese and crackers or a bowl of ice cream? Thinking it'll help you sleep? Sounds cozy, right? But here's what's actually happening inside your body. Dairy and processed carbs like crackers or sugar-rich desserts spike your blood sugar. And when your blood sugar spikes at night, it triggers your insulin response. A few hours later, your blood sugar crashes, waking you up at 2 or 3 a.m., often with a racing heart or that restless, can't get comfortable feeling. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who ate high glycemic meals, like white bread, sugary desserts, or pasta, within 4 hours of bedtime had significantly worse sleep efficiency and were 38% more likely to wake up multiple times during the night. So what should you do instead? Keep dinner light and finish it at least 3 hours before bedtime. And if you need a snack after dinner, go for sleep-supportive options. A small handful of almonds, a slice of turkey, or a banana with a spoonful of peanut butter. These are rich in tryptophan and magnesium, both of which support melatonin production and help your muscles relax. Another overlooked culprit in poor senior sleep? Caffeine, especially hidden caffeine. You already know coffee can keep you up. But did you know even decaf still contains small amounts of caffeine? Or that chocolate, especially dark chocolate, can have just enough to interfere with your rest? One of our viewers, Mary, who's 76, used to drink green tea with her evening TV shows. She thought she was making a healthy choice, but after switching to chamomile, she noticed something surprising. She started falling asleep 40 minutes earlier, and she no longer woke up at 4 a.m. with a dry mouth and racing thoughts. That one small change made a huge difference in her routine. And speaking of tea, certain herbal teas have been shown to promote better sleep. Chamomile, valerian root, lemon balm, and passion flower teas are all natural, caffeine-free ways to support relaxation. You can sip on one about 30 to 60 minutes before bed as part of your wind-down ritual. These herbs have mild sedative effects and are especially helpful for seniors who experience nighttime anxiety or restlessness. Let's shift gears and talk about movement. Specifically, how your activity level during the day directly impacts your sleep quality at night. I know it might sound counterintuitive, but gentle movement, especially earlier in the day, can actually make it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. The trick is to get the timing and intensity right. If you're completely sedentary, sitting or lying down most of the day, your body doesn't build up enough sleep pressure. That's a natural chemical buildup in your brain called adenosine that helps create the sensation of sleepiness. Without it, you'll find yourself wide awake at bedtime, even if you feel tired during the day. A 2020 study from Johns Hopkins Medicine found that just 30 minutes of light walking or seated stretches in the morning improves sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep, by up to 48% in adults over 65. And get this, participants who walk regularly also reported fewer nightmares, less snoring, and higher levels of morning energy. So, even if you can't go for long walks, just moving your body, whether through chair yoga, tai chi, or even doing light gardening, tells your brain, we used energy today. Let's rest and repair tonight. But here's an important detail. Don't exercise too late in the evening. After 5 or 6 p.m., intense movement can actually raise your core temperature and stimulate cortisol, the stress hormone, which will keep you wired long past bedtime. One of our viewers, Frank, age 80, used to do his exercise bike at 7 p.m., thinking it would wear him out for bed. Instead, he was lying awake until midnight. When he moved that workout to 10 a.m. and took a short walk after lunch instead, his sleep improved almost instantly. Now, I want to touch on something a bit more emotional, something that isn't discussed enough but deeply affects sleep: loneliness. For many seniors, evenings can be the hardest time of day. The house gets quiet. The phone stops ringing. Maybe a partner or close friend is no longer there. And all of a sudden, the mind fills with thoughts. Science shows that emotional isolation can raise cortisol levels at night, which interferes with your body's ability to relax. In fact, A landmark study in psychosomatic medicine showed that seniors who reported high levels of loneliness were 2 times more likely to suffer from sleep fragmentation, meaning they woke up more often and spent less time in deep, restorative sleep. So what can you do? Connection, no matter how small, can be medicine. Try calling a family member for 10 minutes before bed, or leave a voice message for a friend. Even sending a short prayer, letter, or message out into the world reminds your mind and heart that you're not alone. It shifts your internal chemistry from stress to calm, and that calm can carry you gently into sleep. As we age, sleep doesn't just serve the purpose of rest. It becomes our body's daily repair technician, fixing damaged cells, clearing waste from the brain, balancing hormones, and even preventing chronic disease. But that technician can only show up if we invite it in at the right time, in the right environment, and with the right support. When you align your sleep time with your body's natural rhythms, starting around 9:30 or 10 p.m., you give your system the best shot at healing, rebuilding, and recharging. You protect your brain from memory loss. You reduce your risk of heart disease and diabetes. And you boost the immune defenses that keep you strong and resilient. This isn't about perfection. It's about intention. It's about making a few gentle shifts, like cutting caffeine after 2 p.m., turning down the lights at 8, and letting go of worries one breath at a time. That can change your nights and transform your days. Because sleep, dear friend, is the most powerful medicine you're probably not using fully. But you can start tonight. By now, you probably realized getting the best sleep after 70 isn't just about how many hours you spend in bed. It's about when you sleep, how you prepare for it, and why your body craves a deeper kind of rest as the years go by. And if there's one thing I hope you take from this conversation, it's this: your sleep is not a luxury. It's not something to push aside for late-night TV, or a few more games of solitaire, or even worrying about the family. Your sleep is sacred. It's a lifeline to the energy, clarity, and strength you deserve in this beautiful season of life. When you go to bed at the right time, ideally between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m., you align yourself with something ancient and powerful, your body's internal clock. Doctors call it your circadian rhythm, but I like to think of it as your body's natural rhythm of life. It's been guiding you since you were a baby. And even now, it knows how to heal you if you give it the space. You see, that early part of the night, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., is when your body gets to work on the deep stuff. Your brain flushes out toxins linked to dementia. Your muscles rebuild. Your immune system sends out tiny repair crews to fix inflammation and damage. Miss that window, and the repair process gets interrupted. Think of it like this. Go to bed before 10 is like catching the express train to better health. Delay it too long, and you're stuck waiting for the next one. And by then, it might not take you as far. One 2019 study published in the journal Sleep Health tracked seniors over the course of 5 years. It found that older adults who consistently went to bed before 10:30 p.m. and woke around 6:30 a.m. had a 33% lower risk of developing cardiovascular disease and a 40% improvement in cognitive function compared to those with regular or later bedtimes. That's not just a statistic. That's a longer, healthier, happier life. And here's what's even more encouraging. It's never too late to improve. Even if you've been a night owl your whole life, your body wants to support you. It wants to restore its rhythm. You just have to give it a little help. So start small. Maybe tonight, you dim the lights a little earlier. Turn off the news and put on soft music. Do a few gentle stretches in your chair. Sip some chamomile tea. Breathe deeply. Smile, even if no one's watching. Let your body know it's okay to rest now. And when you tuck yourself in, don't think of sleep as the end of your day. Think of it as the beginning of your healing. The doorway to clarity, energy, and a life where you feel just a little more like you again. So many seniors feel like their health is out of their hands, that it's all downhill from here. But I promise you, that's not true. There's strength in your breath, wisdom in your stillness, and healing in your sleep. The way you care for yourself at night shapes who you'll be when the sun comes up, and you deserve to wake up each day with a little more brightness in your step, a little more peace in your heart, a little more confidence that aging doesn't mean losing. Sometimes it means rediscovering. So tonight, close your eyes a little earlier. Not because a doctor said so, not because a study proved it, but because your body is asking gently for that gift. And tomorrow, you just might feel the difference. You might feel a little more alive, a little more you. Thank you for spending this time with me. If any part of this touched your heart or gave you something to try tonight, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. What bedtime changes are you going to try? If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips to help you thrive after 60. We're building a community where aging is not something to fear, but something to honor. Remember, it's never too late to take back your energy, your clarity, your health. One good night's sleep at a time. Here's to living your best life at any age.